But this is what I wrote to actually send it to Chris. Say I put it on True Social too. Your mind is at rest when it sees the truth. Your spirit becomes restless when it tries to believe a lie. Allow yourself to trust the truth with a spirit at peace or rest, and your mind will eventually see the truth. Just simple.
Yeah.
I like that. That's so powerful.
Okay. Information without the spirit of truth are words left to your imagination to determine the meaning. No one can understand the truth without the original intent of the spirit of the one who spoke it. Perversion of a truth is a twisting of the truth to make it believable, and therefore a lie. Remember, the truth is still present, only hidden behind the need to not to offend the speaker. This places the speaker of this perversion above the truth and an enemy of that truth as far as the hearer is concerned, having respected the person who twisted it. Pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Facts can be wonderful pieces of information. When you use facts to decide what is right and wrong, judgment makes its entrance.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
You've heard me say this many times. If you show me a man or woman who attempts to prove themselves correct, I will show you a person who is willing to twist the truth to complete this proof. If you can find someone who seeks the truth for the beauty of it, you will have found someone who truly rests in God, the creator of everything.
That's so true.
So anyway.
Yeah, I find all of these are like opening remarks for a lecture for a bunch of people.
Well, that's why I put it. I don't normally do that. And those are 5 different little snippets that just came up, and I was actually, and it still might happen, I was hoping that people would start asking questions. You know, that's what I'm doing. And whenever he, I was surprised it kept coming up, and I'm driving. I'm not typing, I'm driving, I'm speaking into the phone.
I'm still enjoying thinking about this first one.
Oh, okay.
Want me to read it again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Your mind is at rest when it sees the truth. The spirit becomes restless when it tries to believe a lie. Allow yourself to trust the truth with a spirit at peace or rest, and your mind will eventually see the truth.
I believe I can actually kind of believe that. Like I can actually know what that's like.
Yeah, because what's really I don't know, something good feeling, inspiring or something is the recognition that of that peace and restfulness and rootedness when I recognize the truth about something, and that's like the rudder of the ship, or the anchor, or the root. Mind is at rest when it sees the truth. Because you're talking about not about faith today, but you're talking about trust. And there's an element of trust that it is what it is when you see it. And that trust, perhaps through an element or mechanism of faith, brings about very deep-rooted feeling. That might be the mechanism by which what we're talking about works. And then you describe the converse. The spirit becomes restless when it tries to believe a lie. So allow yourself to trust the truth with the spirit at peace. So there's the trust again. Allow yourself to trust the truth with the spirit at peace or rest, and your mind will eventually see the truth. Yeah, this idea of trusting in the truth and resting in the truth, is all rolled up into this.
Well, I think that the middle of this, Toby, is that the truth is always present, even if you can't recognize it. So if somebody has twisted the truth to make you believe it's something other than what it is, it still doesn't mean the truth is not there. It just means you can't see it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And so if you're trying to believe what your mind sees in this twisted thing, your spirit says, I'm unsettled. And if your spirit's settled and your mind says, it's almost lost.
Yeah.
And yet when your mind sees the truth and your spirit is settled, then you're a whole being that's complete. But that's rare.
Yeah.
When a man or a person is resting in the truth, like Pat used to always say, the thoughts are taken into captivity. That singularity or that unison happens between the mind and the spirit and the truth. It's like as if you become one with it.
Yeah.
And the things that'll take you out of that oneness is, of course, misperception of the mind, which is believing a lie or seeing something other than the truth, or I should say believing something other when you're looking at it.
Or which can be doubt, right?
Well, doubt comes as a result of your spirit not resting, it comes as a result. These are the tattletales. Your spirit's at unrest; it's not rested, right? Your mind also knows when it doesn't recognize the truth. It has to make excuses. It has to justify.
Yeah.
If you're having to justify something, you got to ask yourself, well, why do you feel the need to justify? You feel the need to justify because of what? Because another part of you said, hey, wait a minute, I'm not completely settled about this, but I'm trying to convince everybody that I am.
Even myself.
I'm making, what is that? What is the last one that I wrote? If you show me a man or woman who attempts to prove themselves correct, I'll show you a person who's willing to twist the truth to complete this proof. If you can find someone who truly seeks the truth for the beauty of it, you'll find someone who truly rests in God or truth, the creator of everything. So all of these kind of go hand in hand, believe it or not. Did you see that?
Yeah, there's an underlying thread.
There's an underlying thread with all of it. But I'm constantly trying to figure out a way to explain somebody, how do you take your thoughts captive? And I think about, well, how do you take your thoughts captive? The truth of the matter is the only place that your thoughts actually are resting is if you know that you know that you know that you see the truth. If there's even a doubt, even if what you're seeing is the truth, if there's a doubt, you're unstable. Your mind is double.
Yeah.
You can't. You cannot rest.
That's right.
So your mind, you have to be convinced in your mind that you see the truth, as well as your spirit has to be at rest, because both tell of a problem. Usually, your doubt because your spirit says, "Hey, wait a minute, something ain't right." So when you're trying to convince yourself you know everything, your spirit says, I'm not at rest. This ain't right.
Yeah.
And a person who can turn off their mind and just rest, they appear to not know anything, but they're at rest. So they're also missing the completeness of seeing the truth, even though they're at rest.
Yeah.
So how does a person get to where they're at rest and seeing the truth? Well, one big key, and it goes on, and it's right there in what I wrote about. Facts can be wonderful pieces of information, right? A fact, when you have all the facts, your mind will be at rest. But when we use the facts to decide what is right and wrong, judgment makes its entrance.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's the right or wrong. It still goes back to the right or wrong, and judgment comes in. But when judgment comes in, all of a sudden you find yourself having to justify why the judgment's there, and now comes in all of the lies. Because you're trying to justify, you're trying to hide something because you're not comfortable with judging. Because you question whether or not you could do it. You could be perfect or not. And it's a big, huge snowball to keep you. Once you pick up right and wrong, once you pick up the idea of right and wrong, it's over. There's no right. I had a guy that I worked with this week, and he showed me. In fact, I could send it to you. I think I sent you the reply that I sent to him.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Or, you sent a couple of things.
Well, the first one I sent was the reply for the first video that I did not send you. And this was a man. Let me get his name. Got to put on my glasses. I did send you the last piece, the last video, right?
Yeah, about the TED Talk.
Yeah. It's Jordan Peterson. He says, "I'm not an atheist anymore," but he's a very educated man, and he's speaking about God, or the fact that he won't call himself a Christian because he's actually recognized how perfect you had to be considered to in his mind. Christianity, a true Christian, is absolutely perfect in every way, shape, or form. And he's tormented by that, and you could hear it all over.
But he's not an atheist, so he believes in God.
He believes in God, but he hasn't yet understood the nature of the forgiveness
Christ,
that God gave to us in Christ.
Yeah.
So he's tormented. You could hear it in his voice. And this guy that I worked with asked me to listen to it, so I did. And I said, Jordan Peterson is a man tormented with the struggle of how to get free from his belief of right and wrong. He knows how to treat others decently because of understanding, which is what a lot of people do. They treat people decent because they understand them, and not because he had an experience that he has experienced the complete acceptance of God, and in return the same to them. In other words, the only way that he can forgive is to understand.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand what it's like to be forgiven and extend the same grace.
Right.
Which is what a Christian's really supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. He asked, who is the enemy? The enemy of love, trust, and faith is self-protection that uses the knowledge of right and wrong to guide us based on our own perception of the truth as we see it. Aren't we warned not to lean to our own understanding and to trust the Lord with all of our heart? If we do this, there's no thought left to lean on our perception of the truth. Jesus said he is able to keep us. Not one hair would turn gray or fall without him knowing it. If he does not want what is best for us, why go through the trouble of Jesus coming anyway? Jordan cries for us to come to peace with each other by understanding. Most are blinded by desires to have this understanding. In other words, he wants, if a man has complete understanding of everybody's problems, then he can justify treating everybody with forgiveness. The problem is very few people can get past their desires to understand where everybody else is coming from. So that's why there's wars and rumors of wars and everything else. And this other guy that he gave me, I liked. His name is Jocko, Willink. Willink. And this is what I wrote. I said, Jocko understands. This is because he talks about being in war. He talks about being. His story is that he was in a war, and something happened, and friendly fire started, and because he knew who did what, rather than blame anybody else, he just stood before his commander and said, "It's my fault. I should have known. This is what should have been done." And he started turning to people and he says, "This is what I could have did different to make this not happen." And he didn't blame one. He was just trying to fix it. that instead of